Twitch, YouTube, and D Live. And that's enough of the intro. Live and direct for the Land of Smiles. I'm Rebus. Suck my dick if you don't like it. Right. Awards season is very divisive. That's a film awards season. Ever since 2016 and Oscars So White, awards season has just become the most divisive time of the year. And as I mentioned earlier, not too recently, fairly recently, I did a video about some data set that was released about how many actors who had been nominated for awards at the Golden Globes and Oscars and so forth, and this data set of how many times they'd worked with a female director, as if it's had some sort of relevance, sort of trying to name and shame people in some bizarre way of, I don't know, it was bizarre, but here we go. Because, you have to have this. BAFTA 2020, so now, the Golden Globes has been and gone after Ricky Gervais decided to tell everyone they're a prick, and quite rightly so. BAFTA 2020, do awards exclude women and black actors? Do awards, not just award shows, just all awards, even the Mobos and the Women of the Year awards. It's a debate, isn't it? Do they exclude women and black actors? It's a very strange headline. As you can see there, when I took the screenshot, the volume was going up and down at the same time. So sorry about that. So, I would put it to you that there is a slight problem with this, as in, forget about black actors. Do awards to women and black actors. The fact is that there is a category called, two categories, Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress. So I don't know how you could exclude, just make a blanket statement like, do they exclude women? I was like, well, no, because there's awards specifically for them. I've kind of never understood why you have Best Actor and Best Actress, Best Male Singer and Best Female Singer. Is it because they just want to give out more awards? Why don't have Best Male Director and Best Female Director? It's not like it's a sport where you have to have male and female categories, although that's becoming a bit blurry these days, isn't it? But it's not like it's sport, is it? The physicalities of being an actor are pretty much the same for both men and women. There's not different weight divisions. Or maybe they should introduce that. I don't know, Best Fat Actor. I don't know. Anyway. But this is going to be a nonsense. Because, the Oscars gets criticised. Well, of course, they've got to criticise the BAFTAs now, haven't they? Because you have to. You just have to. So everyone's got to get on it. The BAFTAs have been criticised for a lack of representation after no non-white actors were nominated and no women were nominated in the Best Director category for the 7th year in a row. Okay, well, no non-white actors. Okay, forget about that for a second. No women were nominated in the Best Director category for the 7th year in a row. What films of merit have been directed by a woman in the last year? Let alone any films of merit in the first place. Think about the most high-profile director that's been in the public consciousness the past few months. Was it Elizabeth Banks for that film, that Charlie's Angels reboot that no one wanted? Can you think of anyone else? The woman, the female that directed the Little Women movie that no one watches, no one is watching because no one wanted another Little Women film. I remember the 90s one, but apparently there's like 7 of them or something like that. It's like, well, that's too many. Why do you think now is the good time to release another one? I don't know. Maybe because with the female thing. Look, I did a film production course, and I could tell you every single woman on that course, even the ones I don't know their names. I could describe them to you, and I could describe what accent they had, what they looked like, and whether I'd take them on a date or kiss them on the nose. I could tell you that not because they were particularly memorable. But because there was fuck all of them, and when you turn up at on a course or something, you are generally just looking around, eyeing out, going, I wonder who I'd bang in here. Her. It's just human. It's just human nature. It's a sausage fest. It's a sausage fest industry. Do you know what I mean? It's a sausage fest industry. Because I tell you what, there are a lot of women that are in many departments in the film industry who are killing it. There's many great female screenwriters. You know, two of my favourite auteurs. You know, Kubrick and Park Chan-wook, both consistently worked with, or work, as in Stanley Kubrick worked because he's dead, right? But they collaborated with female screenwriters. They created some fucking masterpieces. Look at the lady that I can't remember her name. Sorry about these name things. Yeah, real memorable. Can't remember the name. That's what someone will write in the comments somewhere. And well, fuck you. But you know, Scorsese's frequent collaborations with the female editor. I've forgotten her name. They revolutionised. You know, they changed the game with the editing in Goodfellas. You know, there's many great females in the film industry, but they don't have the glamorous roles that everyone wants. It's, you know, we know about actresses and stuff, but they're not directors and screenwriters. You don't get that many famous screenwriters. No one really worships screenwriters, do they? That's kind of the unsung. They're the unsung heroes of the film industry. They're the ones who are kind of, you know, notoriously not treated very well. Pretty much why they had a writer's strike, I suppose, all those years ago. But you know, there's women killing it in the film industry, but it's not the glam. They're not the director. Ooh, they're not the director. There's no director. Because that's the only thing they can say is there's none nominated for best director. Directing's like kind of a dude. I mean, there's a lot of female directors out there, but it's a very dudey thing to do, like music production. Just saying, I've done a film course, yeah, and I tell you what, majority of the women, the majority of the girls wanted to be producers. And there's a lot of big female producers out there. Some very prominent ones. And I hate to say Kathleen Kennedy. I know that name stirs. I know internet geeks go, "Ugh, she's the devil." I know they don't like that name. But she's been killing it for years. And of course, Gail Ann Hurd, who works side by side, who was married to James Cameron. He's married to fucking everybody. You know, and Catherine Bigelow. He loves strong film women. Gail Ann Hurd, who produced many great films, you know, where it was Aliens and Terminator films. You know, there's a lot of prominent female producers. The two short fiction films that I worked on, one I directed and one I did sound for, there's both female producers. Across the board, there's a lot of, and you know, there weren't that many girls, but a lot of them were producers. Just saying, there's certain roles that women prefer to do. A lot of female editors as well. I worked twice with female editors. You know, mini documentary I did, which you can watch online. Female editor. Short film that I did sound for. Female editor. Did that other film edit? Yeah, my other short film had a female editor. Just saying, there's certain things that women prefer to do to men. All right. Now with the whole black thing, this is as much as, you know, maybe back in the day, foreign language films probably got nominated for awards more often because, you know, I remember talking to my mum about when 8.5 by Fellini came out. She said, she went to watch it in the cinema. You wouldn't imagine people, you know, that's when my mum was like a teenage girl or in her early 20s or whatever. You wouldn't imagine like girls going to watch a foreign language art house film in the cinema, would you? And it being on major release. But it used to be like that. But the industry has changed. So what you got now is these award shows are pretty much just for Western films, and they got, oh yes, and then there's the foreign film that gets its own award. You know, and sometimes you get a few films that break through into the main category, but it's the Western civilization thing. And I don't know if you know about the Western civilization. So we're talking about, you know, pretty much all these films are English language. It's the primary thing, you know. And so we talk about America first, and then Britain, and that's it. And everything else is foreign, you know. Or occasional Australia and New Zealand might, you know, flock in because they're not foreign languages. It's English speaking. It's an English speaking thing. And we ain't talking about pigeon English, all right? So there ain't no pigeon English going to be in there, yeah? Do you know what I'm saying? And obviously, you know, all right, a lot of people speak English in Nigeria, but not enough. You know, so don't get ickety-pickety about all this crap. It's an English language white industry, I hate to put it, because the majority of the people that live in these countries are white. So therefore, it just makes sense. Okay? And is there an underrepresentation of certain groups? Possibly, but there's not. But it's not discriminatory. Because I tell you this, because capitalism doesn't really allow discrimination. This is something that I learned. You know, it's just counterproductive. You know, like even the biggest racist will hire the best person for the job. You know, money dictates. I'll give you a good example of how bigotry gets fucked in the ass by capitalism. Socialism will never fuck something in the ass. Well, I love using this story, but yeah, Elephant Man, the Dancehall Eyes. You feel familiar with Elephant Man? Elephant Man had a few fruity lyrics, you know, mainly about fruits. And no, I'm just trying to make a joke, you know. Very bigoted lyrics towards homosexuals. You know the dancehall tunes like, you know, Chi Chi Man, Batty Man Fee Dead. They're not Elephant Man tunes, but Elephant Man, you know, often didn't have anything nice to say about the homosexual community. You know, but then I remember there was an interview with him, you know, confronting him about, you know, his homosexual views and lyrics and so forth. And he said he turned a new leaf. He changed his ways. He changed his ways. And they're like, well, why? What happened? Did your dad come out as gay or something? No, Elephant Man was like, no, my manager told me them. His manager told him that he was missing out on a hell of a lot of money because of the Pink Pound. And they are a group that is well known for having dispendable income. And therefore, there was a whole market waiting to be tapped. So just the monetary value of homosexuals' spending habits was enough to make Elephant Man stop being so bigoted. That's right. This is how it fucking works. A racist system doesn't work under capitalism because it's just like, no, that's fucking with the money, you dickhead. And the thing is with representation is just fucking stupid. Because if you look at football's always a great example. Because football, there was always this thing about, you know, it was probably the two of the biggest ethnic minority groups you got in UK are black, you know, whether it's Africa, you know, West Africa and then Caribbean, and also like, you know, Indian and Pakistani. And there's always this thing about, well, why aren't there any Indian and Pakistani players playing football? There's fuck all of them playing professional football. I don't think there's any. There was like Michael Chopra, who played for England under 21s. That's the only one. But there's just none. There's never been any, because it's probably just something they're not interested in. You know. So there's a really small representation of them. But if you look at the England football team, the national football team, it is over-represented by black people. Because England is, and the UK is, 87% white. Okay? And the England football team was almost 50% black. It doesn't make sense. They say, well, where's the diversity quota? It's not representative. It's not representative of Britain, of England. Ethnically, it's not. There's an over-representation of black boys. Now, why is that? Because they discriminate against the whites? No. Probably it's by chance, or maybe culturally that young black boys just work harder, because you can have all the talent and athleticism in the world, but without good work ethic, you ain't become shit. There's so many footballers that have squandered their talents, especially English footballers, just over the past couple of decades, from Francis Jeffers to Michael Bridges, Lee Hendry, that Morrison kid who's now playing for Ireland. He's not doing too well, is he? You could say Jack Rodwell right now. You know what I'm saying? Some people might say Ross Barkley. Shh. Who? Remember when everyone discovered that Ross Barkley's quarter black? No one knew. That was a crazy time. That. So it's just saying. Do you know what I mean? It's the representation thing just gets a bit silly because certain cultures aren't interested in certain things. Certain people aren't interested in certain things. But they try to make it out like there's this big evil conspiracy against people, there's a racist system, even though the UK has consistently been found to be one of the least racist countries in the whole of fucking Europe. You know, we're less racist than the Dutch, and the Dutch are all like, oh, this is fuck, isn't it? You know? It's ridiculous. It's just a ridiculous thing. You know, would you like to see more black and females get awards for stuff? It's like, I don't really care. Like, I just want to see people do well. Fuck an award. I just want to see people do well. You know? Do you know what I mean? Not everyone wants to be Noel Clarke. This comes a day after the Golden Globes had an all-male list of Best Director nominees. It's just a male. It's a fucking look at all the greatest producers and greatest directors of all time. They've all been men. Well, it's because women didn't get the opportunity. You know. So how bad is it? And this is the other silly thing about all this. It's like, all right, it's the film industry. Remember they were going on about how there was too many old white men who were film critics. It's like, in the grand scheme of the universe, it's not that important, is it? It's do you know what I mean? I think unemployment rates, stuff like that. That's, you know, where, funny enough, where white males are doing the worst. Those are the sort of things you should be concerned about, you know. But like, oh, there's not enough black directors. It's like, oh, is it that? It's the film industry. It's like, you know, making a sustainable career in the film industry is an incredibly difficult thing to maintain. So Ms. Berry did point to female directors being nominated in other categories, for example, for short films. Over the past decade, only about 5% of BAFTA nominations for Best Actor, Actress, or Supporting Actor, Actress were non-white. Which is maybe not so in America. Representation, you know, they got a larger black population, and Hispanic and so forth. But in the UK, as the UK awards, like that's kind of representative of the country almost, isn't it? So it doesn't make sense. That's the BAFTAs, but what about the rest of the industry? Gender representation. Martha Lawson, director of the Center for Study of Women in Television and Film, I bet that's a hoot, at the San Diego State University, has been tracking women's employment in the film industry since 1998. Like I said, it's an entertainment industry. How important is the film industry in the grander scheme of the universe? Do you know what I'm saying? You know, it's like going, oh, the film industry, it's totally non-representative. It's just not a representation. It's like, all right, what do you want? More female boom operators. Funny enough, all the boom operators I've met who work in the industry are female. I know a hell of a lot of female boom operators. But no, that's not glamorous enough, is it? No, that's not the glamour. We want them to be directors and stuff like that. It's like, all right. And it's in 2019, just 13% of directors on the 250 highest grossing films were female. Her report on the celluloid ceiling found. It's like, and like, how important is it to have female directors? How important is the film industry to the whole of society? I mean, how important is it? Does it matter that much? You know, I can understand people concerned about females in, you know, politicians, police force, whatever, teachers and shit. Film directors? Who cares? 9% of writers, 27% of producers, 21% of executive producers, 23% of editors, and 5% of cinematographers. Well, that's because men have got, you know, Men have got more direct vision, whereas female have got more peripheral vision in it. Like, we got different vision, so maybe that's why. I don't know. Although these figures represent recent historic highs, there hasn't been a great deal of movement during the 22 years Dr. Lausen has conducted the study. For comparison, in 1998, on the top 250 films, women made up 9% of directors and 13% of writers, 24% of producers, 18% of... Looking just at the 100 highest grossing films, the proportion of female directors tripled between 2018 and 2019 from 4% to 12%, but the figures remain low. You're talking about the highest grossing films. Just because something's really high grossing doesn't actually mean it's good, does it? Do you know what I mean? Like, crack sells a hell of a lot. You can make a hell of a lot of money selling crack and heroin, but it's not necessarily good. Do you know what I mean? It feels good, but it's not good though, is it? It ain't good. You know? Do you want more female drug dealers? There's not a lot of female drug dealers out there. Like, it's about as important as having female directors as having female drug dealers. We need 4 female drug dealers. This is how stupid this sounds. It's like, we need more female directors. Like, why? What if they just don't want to? You ever thought about that? Do you ever think that women just don't want to? This is something they never ask. It's like, they just don't want to. Like, I done music production as well, and like, there was fuck all girls on that course. Do you know why? Because girls have got better things to do than to sit in a dark room in front of a computer screen going, oh, I need to sidechain my hi-hat there. Oh, I need more compression on my kick drum. Oh, I need to put some reverb on that fucking sidechain vocal. Like, you know, girls have got better things to do. They've got singing and dancing and cooking to do and shit. You know what I mean? Anyway, Ms. Lausen told advocacy group Women in Hollywood it was odd to talk about reaching historic highs when women remain so far from parity. And although the numbers had moved in a positive direction, men continue to outnumber women 4-1 in key behind-the-scenes roles. Oh, the key behind-the-scenes roles. No, they haven't mentioned boom operators or dolly groups or production designers or costume designers or anything like that. Because, no, it's got to be the key roles. Well, maybe they just don't want... You ever thought about they just don't want to? Or, heaven forbid, maybe women just don't make good film directors. As the same that men don't make very good mothers. You know? Do you know what there's a lot of, which they won't talk about, in the entertainment industry? Gays. There's fucking shitloads of them. Gays are overrepresented in the entertainment industry, especially musical theatre, and that ain't no joke. There's a lot of homosexuals. Was there too many? So why is there loads of homosexuals but not loads of women? If everything's so bigoted. More people are probably homophobic than racist. I guarantee it. I think that I put money on more people have homophobic tendencies than racial tendencies or sexist tendencies. I guarantee it. I guarantee that. It's the kind of shit's on it because they haven't said why. Where's the why? Is there going to be a why? Anyway, the Women in Hollywood site's news editor Rachel Montpellier also pointed out there was no change in the number of women working in key off-screen roles. Meanwhile, research commissioned by Directors UK, the Professional Association of UK Screen Directors, found on 2,591 UK films released between 2005 and 2014, 30.6% of directors were women. UK film students are broadly 50% male, 50% female, according to the research. I'm calling bullshit on that one. I did a film course, man. It was like fucking 15%, 20% girls. It was a fucking sausage fest, bruv. It was a literal sausage fest. There was more Lithuanians on that course than there was women. Lithuanians. You ever been to Lithuania? Have you ever met a Lithuanian? Well, I hadn't until the... Oh, no. Anyway, that's another story. The split is also about half and half, so it is as they progress further that the problem emerges. Or if that is true, that is 50-50. From my experience, it's not. Maybe things have changed. But But maybe they go into areas because they talk about directors. Maybe they just don't want to be directors. Maybe they just don't want to be, or it just doesn't suit the female brain. So what is it, and why is it so important? Like, what is the point of all this? Is the main question, isn't it? What is the point? What are you trying to do? Is there a barrier? Because they brought black people into it and women. Well, they're fucking talking about women a hell of a lot, aren't they? The report published in 2016 suggested men were more likely to hire other men, while a lack of female role models may make it harder for women. I almost said we-male then. Women to progress, sustained the outdated unconscious bias of the individuals within the industry. Shut up. The report said, well, what suggested men were more likely to hire other men? Well, can I see, was there a survey done? Is this because it seems like it's based on assumption? I think a lot of this stuff is just assumptions. Where's the data? Where'd you get the data from? Did you actively go out there and ask like male film producers and go, if there was a woman or a man up for the job, who would you employ? They wouldn't say, oh, definitely. They wouldn't even say definitely men, even if they thought definitely men. So I don't see where this comes from. So it's just an assumption. I'm telling you, this is just like, I guarantee this research is a nonsense. This is the problem with this kind of shit, you know what I'm saying? A report looking at 7 European countries, including the UK, found a similar drop-off in representation. In 2013, 44% of graduates entering the film industry were women, compared to 24% of working directors. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of, why aren't there more female directors? Because maybe they don't fucking want to. Same as why aren't there more female music producers? Why aren't there more female DJs? Like, why isn't there something? Oh, there's got to be more female film directors. Maybe they just don't fucking want to. Did you ever think about that? Like, maybe they just don't want to. Who knows? Yo, woke up. Imperium 42. I'm talking about the lack of diversity at the BAFTAs, because apparently that's something important. It's so important, I had to read this article. It's not important, is it? White males in Hollywood. A study published last year by the University of California, Los Angeles, also looked at ethnic diversity in Hollywood. It found that of the 200 highest grossing films in 2017, 12.6% had non-white directors. Just 7.8% of the top films writers were from non-white background, despite making up 40% of the US population. These figures are more or less unchanged since 2011, when the first UCLA study was carried out. All right, so America is 40% non-white. Okay, that makes it kind of interesting. So the study said that from studio boardrooms and executive suites to the talent agencies that act as gatekeepers, the fundamental relation of production that center white males in Hollywood movie making remained largely intact. But this is the assumption that is. It's almost like 80% of people in America. Exactly. This is making the assumption that certain cultural groups want to do these things. Like I mentioned earlier, why are black boys overrepresented in British football? Why are there more black, in terms of, we're talking about like 5% of the population, if that. And yet, England football team's almost 50% black. Well, maybe about 40. It's a lot though. And then it's like, why aren't there any Indian and Pakistani professional footballers? Why? It was clearly not because of racism, right? Or preferences. Because no football manager is going to go, well, I'd rather pick the white player. Do you know what I mean? No one's going to choose Paul Gascoigne over Pele, are they? It's just, even if you're the biggest racist on planet Earth, even Ron Atkinson with his racist shit was one of the first people to give black players a break. Even, they labelled him a racist, but he still knew that, well, my racism doesn't win football matches, so I'll leave that one be. Do you know what I'm saying? The reason why do Indian and Pakistani boys not play football? I don't know, go ask them. Has anyone asked them? Because I just don't think they're interested. I think they want to do other stuff. Not everybody wants to be a film director. Do you know what I mean? Not everyone wants to sing and dance. And everyone wants to be a fucking mechanic. You know, my sister is a fucking engineer. She works for fucking Jaguar and Land Rover. She's one of the only female engineers there. She's been there for like 20 years. She was the first female engineer to work for that company. Because, do you know why my sister like got into that? It wasn't like there was barrier. She said there was no problem. He said it was a bit weird, but there was no issues with her being a female there. She didn't have any feelings to work harder or to try and prove herself. She just worked hard. But my sister used to play with action men when she was a kid. You know, my sisters are twins. My other sister played with Barbie dolls and shit. You know, and then my sister just played with action men and had short hair. You know, that's what she was interested in. Like boy stuff. Society didn't tell her to play with action men. She just did it. She just fucking go to the toy shops going, no, I want that. See what I mean? Certain people, you know. It said groups were still woefully underrepresented among directors, writers, and lead actors. And that's all they got to say. I don't just love how this article didn't delve into why. The assumption is the only thing that happened. So I'm just reading that chat. They just come up with these assumptions going, well, it's because of biases, instead of looking deep into it. This is why this culture is so fucking fucked. You know what I'm saying? Because remember that James Damore dude who worked for Google, and they were trying to work out, you know, they're asking people to, you know, why aren't there enough women working in tech? And James Damore did his report and came back with his findings. And then they binned him off because they said he was sexist, even though he'd just said, oh, well, my research has discovered that this is a reason. And they just didn't want to listen to the research. Do you know what I mean? They don't want to listen to the actual reasons. They want to conjure up reasons because the whole world is evil, apparently. It's fucking bizarre, mate. It's so weird. It's just so weird. It's like, maybe you just don't want to. You know, people used to ask me, like, why do you like fat girls? I said, I don't know. They just give me a hard-on. I don't look deep into it and saying, maybe I was abused by a fat woman when I was 2 and that's why I like it. I don't know. Why aren't you into pencil thin bitches? I'm just not. You know. There's no particular reason. No. Why didn't you want to be an astronaut when you were a kid? I don't know, because it's fucking boring. God. You know, when you're a kid, it's not like a little girl walks into you know, parents' bedroom and saying, Mummy and Daddy, I've decided who I want to be. Or what's that? A film director. It's not like the old man says, no, that's man's work. Now get in the kitchen and make me a sandwich. Women are only supposed to be actresses and costume designers. That never fucking happened. Never happened, mate. The fuck is that? Someone's trying to fucking hammer their way. So there's been a lot of banging upstairs. I swear someone is actually locked as a prisoner upstairs. You know, that's more important. Anyway, it's a nonsense. Fuck award shows. Who gives a flying fucking fuck? That's what I say. Hang on. Now, last night on stream, I talked a hell of a lot about R. Kelly. I did. I was talking a lot about R. Kelly. How R. Kelly's musical genius. Some people say I'm trying to troll with my love for R. Kelly. You know, I put it to you. And I'm not. I promise. My love for R. Kelly is completely legit. Okay? And I will not see a beautiful talent such as R. Kelly be thrown under the bus by haters and bitter ex-lovers. Alright? But look at this shit. Look at this shit. Robert Kelly. Look at that. Look at the face on this man. This is what you've done to R. Kelly. Look at him. Look how sad he is. It's a fucking disgrace. You make R. Kelly that sad. I mean, Surviving R. Kelly came out last year, and apparently there's a Surviving R. Kelly Part 2. That might make you think, oh, well, there must be so many victims, and they had to make a Part 2. Or maybe they're just milking this because the ratings were really good. Or maybe everyone's a fucking liar. Well, I'm going with the third option. That's right. I've never watched Surviving R. Kelly. That's right. It's a smear campaign. Watching Surviving R. Kelly is the same as watching North Korean propaganda. Okay? It's designed to poison your mind. Alright? Anyway, Surviving R. Kelly Part 2. What can we learn from the horrifying update? Alright, not too much loaded language, is it? The second season of Lifetime's harrowing documentary. Harrowing? R. Kelly's probably one of the greatest lovers on planet Earth. I doubt any of these experiences were harrowing. Yeah. Detailing decades of abuse. Allegations against the musician covers a larger culture of complicity. Complicity? If the world worked as it should, there would never have been a Surviving R. Kelly. Exactly. It's a disgrace. The documentary series detailing nearly 3 decades of alleged sexual abuse, much of it against minors, and almost entirely against young African American women. Isn't that the worst? By the R&B musician. By the time the series produced by the activist Dream Hampton. Produced by the activist Dream Hampton. There's no capital letters on that. What is that? Is that a concept that produced it? It was produced by a concept. What? Anyway. Aired on Lifetime last January, the allegations against R. Kelly had long been public and mounting, but it took a 6-hour television event to do what multiple public lawsuits, highly publicised child sexual abuse images, and a trial. A widely circulated tape involving sexual acts with a 14-year-old, a bombshell BuzzFeed news article by the reporter... A BuzzFeed article can take down R. Kelly. Disgraceful. And the hashtag Mute R. Kelly movement were not able to do. That was a fucking long sentence. That sentence was way too long. JJ Candy, want to become famous, buy followers. No, I'm not going to buy any followers. Piss off. I'm getting botted by loons. I ain't buying no followers. Do one. Anyway. That was a fucking long sentence. As documented in Surviving R. Kelly Part 2, The Reckoning. Oh my God, really? I mean, jokes aside, really, this is what you do. Surviving R. Kelly Part 2, The Reckoning. This is what we've turned documentaries on sexual abuse into, have we? Alleged. The follow-up that aired on Lifetime this weekend, the first series landed in a hashtag #MeToo media environment with a bang, producing a long overdue blast of attention on R. Kelly with legal repercussions. Celebrities from Christina Aguilera to Lady Gaga publicly condemned the series, while calls for finally muting Kelly's music skyrocketed. So, Christina Aguilera and Lady Gaga publicly they commended the series. Sorry, I read that wrong. How dare you? Where's the solidarity? While finally muting Kelly's music skyrocketed, his label RCA dropped him, cutting off crucial revenue. Kim Fox, the state's attorney for Kelly's hometown of Chicago, made a public plea for victims to come forward information to aid prosecutorial effort. 6 weeks after the series aired, Kelly was indicted for 10 counts of sexual abuse, 18 federal charges including for kidnapping, forced labour and sending child sexual abuse images across state lines. These charges are bloody mounting up, aren't they? But hey, look, as I said if Michael Jackson fans want to be completely in denial with all that fucking smoke, then so will I, bitch. Okay? Yeah? Yeah, that's right. See how you like it now. I'm just going to act like a Michael Jackson fan and be completely oblivious to all the evidence and just say it's a conspiracy against R. Kelly. Because R. Kelly done more for society than any of yous that's been named in this article. All these developments could make it seem, though, the long-running case against Kelly achieved, forthcoming trials aside, some sort of resolution, but Surviving R. Kelly Part 2, I still can't believe they called it that, illustrates with, as in the first series, haunting and minimally staged interviews that compiling stories of Kelly's abuse on the camera was hardly the end. In fact, it's only the beginning of a different struggle of moving on, or finding justice, or weathering vicious backlash. The 5-hour series, again aided by numerous cultural commentators, or corporate devil shills, fucking, And it builds on the questions that have been asked in the post #MeToo discourse in 2019, now 2 years removed from the reporting on Harvey Weinstein that launched an outpouring of public stories of abuse. Was it worth it? Was coming forward worth the social media harassment? Or, dare I say, book deals and paid appearances? And the fact is, no one cared about you until R. Kelly done something to you. Yeah, how would you like them apples? That's right, I'm going to be in denial. That's right. It's the R. Kelly fans' turn to be in denial right now. Okay? Alright? It's our fucking turn. Was coming forward worth the social media, especially against a public figure, especially as black women coming against a celebrity as big as R. Kelly? Well, he's hardly Paul McCartney, but he's R. Kelly. What cultural complicity allowed this to go on for so long? Well, I don't know. I don't even know about the entertainment industry as a whole, like the music business and the film industry, but it's full of sordid fucks. I don't know if you're aware of, all that stuff. And now that Kelly is in custody, what does justice look like? Non-existent. Because if R. Kelly goes to jail, there is no such thing as justice. The first 2 episodes deal with the series in its own media context, a viral hit, which inspired a serious reckoning but also furious debate and resistance. The dozens of women who came forward in the first series or told their stories on television in their own words for the first time have continuously been put on trial themselves, and rightly so, smearing the greatest artist of our generation. How dare you, says the activist Brittany Packett Cunningham. The vitriol online has followed as the series describes a typical script of victim blaming. What were they wearing? Why put themselves in that situation? Exactly. I mean, it's not there for, why are you sucking R. Kelly's dick in a parking lot? I mean, come on. What you up to? R. Kelly's like, hey, do you want to be in my sex cult and live in the dungeon? Yeah, sure. Part 2 reveals some of the toll this backlash had on Kelly's accusers and how the resources and fear tactics of a celebrity at his level go into hyperdrive as one's visibility rises. There's shocking footage of the first series premiere in New York, which was evacuated over a threat of violence. I can't believe you're having a premiere in New York of something like this. It's ridiculous. Chaos after that. A representative from Kelly's team allegedly threatened one participant in the show, Faith Rogers, with posting nude photos online as punishment for speaking publicly. It ultimately didn't matter. After the show aired, vigilante pages supporting Kelly popped up. One particularly vile one endeavoured to discredit the women one by one with public shaming, mugshots and leaked photos, including ones of Rogers. Well, if you're going to throw stones in glass houses, no one's forgiven the Romans for killing Jesus, okay? Alright? Okay? The pressure since the show aired has been relentless, according to many who spoke in the first series. Another accuser, Asante McGee, says that in 2019 she just wanted to sleep everything away. Kelly may have been arrested. Blah, 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 blah. This is not about women finding our voices. We have always had our voices, says Tarana Burke, founder of the #MeToo movement. Brilliant. I am the founder of a witch hunt. Pleased to meet you. In the series, this is about people's ability to hear. We've just finally found a frequency that people can hear us. Yes. Medium wave. Women have been using their voices to speak up against Kelly for over 2 decades, though. As Part 2 points out, the legal system has frequently made it difficult to do so. As with Ronan Farrow's Catch and Kill and Jodie Cantor's blah 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 blah. 2 women, Tiffany Hawkins and Lolita Carter, blah 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 blah. There's a it rounds off with this article goes on and fucking on. Their testimony demonstrates the consequences of an unchecked, well-resourced Kelly. Even as the documentary aired last year, Kelly's tactics of manipulation, turning women against their parents, cutting off communication, controlling their whereabouts, continue to wreak havoc on their families. Well, you know, some bitches have got to be told what to do. You know what? I'm done with this article. Surviving R. Kelly parts. You know, as I said, hashtag mute R. Kelly movement. Hell no. I'm going to be blasting R. Kelly. I'm going to fucking... wherever his music is still sold and streamed, I am going to buy every single copy. I'm going to get I'm in Love with the Pussy by R. Kelly to number 1. You're goddamn right. I will not see Robert Kelly be disrespected like this. Hell no. That's right. Where's the real fandom out there, huh? You know what I'm saying? That's right. I'll leave on that note, you know. They can... Michael Jackson fans can be completely in denial, and so will we. Okay? Alright? So will we. That's right. But we'll be way more in denial than you ever imagined. Yeah, you think Michael Jackson fans think you're well heavy. Trust me, you ain't seen shit. Your fandom is bullshit. Yeah? You don't love Michael Jackson as much as we love R. Kelly. And we're gonna fucking prove it. We'll be completely in denial. Man, this man could do a suicide bombing and we still love him and deny it happened. Fucking damn right. We'll show you fandom. Fucking bunch of bitches. Anyway, moving away from my, hilarious love for R. Kelly. Here's an article that I seen that was absolutely ridiculous. I have to say, very ridiculous stuff that I've seen here. To take things to a more sort of serious place. But bear with me a second. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette over there. So I'm gonna move this. Usually I put on a bit of music or something. I'll do that, but no. I'm just gonna go over here. I'm still gonna talk to you. Let's go over here. 'Cause we're on the laptop now, alright? I'm just gonna go over here. Okay? Come over here, please. Oh, that's sweating right out. Just to set the record straight, just to clarify the whole R. Kelly thing, I'm being completely serious, and this is not a joke. Okay, I'm completely not joking about this R. Kelly situation. This is not satire. I'm being completely serious. I swear. Completely serious. We will be in denial as much as possible. That's what we'll do. And I wonder, isn't it a wonder, little baby crying? Why aren't you talking about Iran or something? Duh. Well, R. Kelly is way more important than the situation you're around. it goes. I do have something to say about that. All right, so I will say something about that. That's it. I got bitten by an ant. Here, bitten by a fucking ant. I looked down, and here, I looked down and I was like, I could see it chewing into me. It was fucking tiny. I actually felt it and I was like, oh my god, there's a fucking ant. This fucking bastard. Fucking ant, bitten by an ant. I've been bitten by an ant. It's ridiculous. If anyone, if anyone wondered, if anyone was curious about my sort of position on the situation with Iran, it is this, and it's very simple. You know, this is me being more serious now. It's very simple. You know, I've grown up for a long time. Now, I've been alive too long and seen too much fear-mongering in the press and with politicians and you know, world affairs in general over the past few decades to give a shit about this kind of thing. It's always the same. It's either North Korea or Iran. There's always some tensions with them. Has been for on and off for fucking decades. There's always some incident where we go, oh my god, is this going to be war? And it never is. It's fucking tiresome. You have the whole, you know, now we got Trump in charge, and it's like the whole to and fro with North Korea with him, and the whole to and fro with Iran. You know, it's always been like that. It's just going on, and it's just like there's too much other shit going on. The only thing that's exposed is that people weren't paying attention to Iraq and what's going on there, because all they've been paying attention to is either Trump being president or Brexit, whereas shit's been going on in Iraq, and you have no idea what's going on there, and how things have changed, and how much influence Iran has there. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, you've been completely blindsided by the whole thing, about what's going on in that region, because no one cares. Now suddenly people care, because Orange Man bad. Well, I don't care. I've had enough of that fear-mongering to last a lifetime. I'm going to spend the rest of my life not worrying about it, and you should do the same thing. Okay. Anyway, let's have a look at this. So, I saw this article and I thought, how silly. Failure is now big business for the highly successful. So, okay. It's an interesting, I mean, it's the sort of headline you'd read and go, oh, what? How interesting. It's not. In best-selling books, TED Talks and podcasts, the famous love to tell us how they failed, and it seems we love to listen. So you can maybe see where this is going. So we have, right. Here's a lady that they're going to shit on. There is no better time to be a failure, or to put it another way, now would seem like a good moment to turn failure into success. The relentless focus on exams at school means most of us are reared to view failure as undesirable, a consequence of not knuckling down and doing your homework. But in the adult world, failure is increasingly fetishized and monetized. Setbacks, both major and minor, are evidence of our struggle. We are all better for having messed up. Now, before we proceed reading on, let's bear a few things in mind. This is a Guardian article. What do most Guardian writers share in common? Player hating. They're player haters. I reject all these terms like far leftists, progressives, postmodernists, whatever you like to call them. They're player haters. Let's just label them what they are. They're player haters. They're losers. They have loser mentality. And they're player haters. It's plain and simple, from Owen Jones to George Monbiot. You know, and these people aren't exactly failures in life, but they just can't understand why other people get so much more for doing things that they don't like. That's because the world is a rich tapestry of different tastes. But they don't understand that. They hate that. So this is what this is attempting to do, is sell you this narrative, is that failing, is that everyone fails, and only, the system is rigged, everything's rigged, and only the truly privileged can afford to fail, which is a very, very dangerous and horrible way to think, and a very damaging message to spread. It's very bad. This is bad. I hope you realise how bad this is. This is awful. This is awful. Because you say, at school you're supposed to succeed. Succeed in exams, and failure is blah 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 blah. What happened to the whole thing is, you have to fail. You have to make mistakes in order to become better. That's kind of how all life works. Do you know what I mean? When you start walking as a toddler, right, you're going to fall over before you get walking right. It's not like you have to start walking at the first attempt, otherwise you fail, because you only have one shot at it. And failure is not an option, because you're not privileged. Because there's no, what is this? This, at least, is the message in the mountain of literature on the topic, which ranges from the advisory to the autobiographical. Self-help books such as The Value of Failure, In Praise of Failure, and How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big tell us that failure is character building, a vital learning tool, and that success comes from hard-won lessons. Yes, it does. It does. Look at all the great stories of people's success. Like the Beatles never won a battle of the bands. Do you know what I'm saying? People passed up on the Spice Girls. Do you understand? Do you understand this? Anyway, right. Motivational TED Talks and podcasts are full of this stuff. Many of them confessionals by life coaches or entrepreneurs spewing platitudes about personal journeys, empowerment and positive thinking. See, they're now honestly, they're having a go at positive thinking. They don't like positive thinking. This is where this is going. Famous types also love talking about their failures. In her TED Talk, the US novelist Elizabeth Gilbert, she of the best-selling Eat, Pray, Love, reminisces on her struggle as an unpublished author working as a waitress in a diner. In Elizabeth Day's paradoxically successful podcast, How to Fail, Lily Allen, Fern Cotton and Phoebe Waller-Bridge are among those reflecting on their setbacks. Sharing one's low moments is all very laudable, though such stories are invariably told in the past tense. Well, yes, because they've now made it, haven't they? They've made it. So they're talking about failure before you make it. I don't know if you understand how it works, but hearing about very successful people's massive failures kind of makes you feel better and makes you want to carry on, because you're like, going, really? That happened to you? It's like, yeah. Really? Yeah. I mean, when they told Lionel Messi that he was too short to be a successful footballer. Stuff like that, and you're like going, really? It's called motivation. Inspiration. You ever heard of these fucking terms? They're very good. Because while some struggles may be ongoing, the popular narrative requires the protagonist to have triumphed. Well, I would say Lily Allen, Fern Cotton and Phoebe Waller-Bridge have all triumphed, haven't they? Because we know who they are. Therefore, they have triumphed. Right? There may be other failures, but the ultimate triumph is that they cemented in the public consciousness who they are. And however genuine the tale, it's hard to be a wealthy celebrity discussing defeat without sounding like a bit of an asshole. I think you're totally missing the point. They're talking about setbacks before they became wealthy. They're talking about their journey and saying, you want to go on this journey and succeed? well, guess what? There's going to be a lot of fucking downs, but the ups will be worth it. That's what it's saying. But you're like, no, what is it? Very easy to talk about your failures now you're successful. It's like, what do you want? You say, I never had any failures. Everything was fucking fine. Public failure can be chastening, humiliating even. It can also reveal a lot about those who have failed. When J.P. Oliver's business went down the tube, shame and regret seemed to leak from his every pore. Though whether this can be deemed as a good failure when so many lost their jobs is something else entirely. Now, there's no such thing as good failure. It's just called life lessons. This person's really missing the point of everything, isn't it? You know, these books, How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big, in praise of failure, it's saying, don't worry about, like it's well known that majority of people who become entrepreneurs, who start businesses, your first business will fail. Like high percentage wise, your first business will fail. A hell of a lot of billionaires have become bankrupt because you're on your second run when you become even richer, because you learn. But you're like, no, that's a failure. Failure's failure. There is, of course, value in talking honestly about failure. The appearance of perfection is helpful to no one, while the removal of shame around life's more calamitous moments can only be a good thing. But failure means different things to different people. Here we go! And our understanding of it is tethered to our definition of success. I think I've done all right professionally until I look at some of my university pals who earn 3 times as much as I do. Yeah, well, that's your choice. You write for The Guardian. It's a newspaper that begs for money. Prompting me to wonder about my choices. Well, you got that one fucking right. Yes, you should consider your choices right now. Like that. Well, I could have been a neuroscientist, but I chose to be a redcoat at Butlins. I could make a long list of all the things I haven't done that I wished I had. That's not failure. That's regret. This is different things. These are things you haven't done. You haven't failed at it. You can't fail at something if you don't do it. I've yet to conquer my fear of driving. My best-selling book remains stubbornly unwritten. My best-selling book remains stubbornly unwritten. Oh, you're talking about something you haven't written yet. Well, I still don't know how to reset my boiler. But these aren't failures so much as plans not followed through. Yes, we know that. Thanks for pointing out the fucking obvious. What is wrong with you? What's going on? Real failure? I flunked my maths GCSE twice. That's not failure. That's not failure. Which at the time seemed like the end of the world. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. It's not failure. For 2 years I failed to get pregnant, which brought heartache, frustration and moments of real despair. Oh my God, you don't understand failure, do you? I was like, but a round of IVF resulted in pregnancy and a baby, and so failure was turned into success. Go me. Time for my TED motivational talk. Except that an inability to conceive didn't, to my mind, make me a failure any more than having eggs fertilized outside my body made me a success. Yes, well, that's a very different thing to failing at becoming a famous singer like Lily Allen, or we're just using that as an example because you used her as an example. She's not my best example; it's your example. It's very different to not being able to conceive, isn't it? All right, that's a completely different thing, isn't it? That's the same as going, I wanted to be a Premiership footballer, but I have no legs. It's like, that's not really you failing at becoming a footballer. It's just, you just can't. There's a whole different thing. That's not failure. That's just called you can't. When they say there's no such thing as can't, sometimes there is such thing as, no, you can't do that. You can't. To reduce such moments of success or failure is unhelpful at a time when you are raw and vulnerable. If there is one thing that should be understood about real failure, is that it often due to circumstances beyond our control. Yeah, I don't think that's the kind of failure they're talking about. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, when the wheels fucking come off. It's like, That's not failure. That's obstruction. That's shit. That comes under shit happens. It's how you deal with it that maketh the man. Make the man. I'll give you an example. I don't know if I should just talk about it. Well, my directing tutor, a lovely bloke called Bob. Bob was, a very hot director in the 80s. He made Vampire's Kiss, starring Nicolas Cage. If you ever seen the YouTube video, Nicolas Cage loses his shit. It's one of the famous scenes where he's going, A, B, C, D. It's from that film. And he's going, I'm a vampire. You know, it's Nicolas Cage being his ultimate Nicolas Cage self. Now, Bob was on the up and up. Bob was supposed to direct the remake of The Fly, which was produced by Mel Brooks. He didn't know that because he wouldn't put his name on it, because he thought it might come across as weird that Mel Brooks produces The Fly, because people would be expecting something different to what it was. So he was supposed to do it before Cronenberg was supposed to do it. But unfortunately, Bob's wife and daughter died in a car crash. And pretty much after that derailed his career. He has done work since then, but he didn't get to direct The Fly. He missed that opportunity. And I don't know why he didn't pursue anything after that, or what happened after that, but I mean, it devastated him. He's not a failure. That's not failure. That's called being derailed. It's a totally different thing. Failing is making a Charlie's Angels reboot. That's failure. That was fucking failure, right? That was someone failing, you know. But if Elizabeth Banks comes back and directs some epic masterpiece, then she'll be a success. No, but she's not going to do that, because all she wants to do is she actively wants to make bullshit films. So I have no sympathy for her at all. You know what I'm saying? So that's not failure. That's something completely different. That's a different thing. You're misunderstanding the whole concept of this monetizing failure as saying, they're not telling people go fail, fail, fail. It's saying try, and you will fail, 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 but keep fucking trying. Anyway. Still, the growing industry around failure suggests that we derive pleasure from the stories of other people's screw-ups. No, it's not pleasure. It's called inspiration, you fucking dickhead. Is it that we enjoy watching people fail? Well, we enjoyed watching the Labour Party fail. Even those people that support the Labour Party enjoyed watching them fail. Now, why was that? That's the bit that you don't understand. Anyway, perhaps more likely there's a touch of but for the grace of God in there too. We are all really a whisker away from what? Sorry. Whisker away from catastrophe. Perhaps that is why we like stories of losers coming out on top. Well, duh. The whole underdog story is popular for that reason, isn't it? You idiot. The US inventor and entrepreneur Thomas Edison was told he was stupid by his teachers, and is said to have made more than 1,000 attempts to invent the light bulb, but he got there in the end. Theoretical physicist Albert Einstein allegedly didn't speak until he was 4 years old and was a dead loss at school, but he did alright later too. He was a dyslexic brother, that's why. Such stories are seen as human and endearing and allow us to imagine that genius resides in us all. If only we could locate it. Cinema is fascinated with failure. Ed Wood, Inside Llewellyn Davis, Sideways, and Birdman. How's Sideways about failure? I can't remember. All provide portraits of lives thwarted or unfulfilled. The documentary Anvil, the story of Anvil, told a touching tale of a Canadian rock band that failed to capitalise on early promises, spent years being ignored. The film depicts a disastrous tour in which everything that can go wrong does go wrong. They are skint, and no one comes to their gigs, yet on the plod making albums on the cheap in the hope of one day the success will be theirs. Television also loves a loser, chief among them Reggie Perrin, David Brent, and Alan Partridge. No, Reggie Perrin rejected society. David Brent isn't... Now you talk about losers instead of failures. You know, it's like... This is different. Alan Partridge isn't really a loser or a failure because he did have a career. He did the career that he wanted to, but then it all slipped away from it. Anyway, optimism and hubris have sustained the Channel 4 series' grand designs, but the recently broadcast saga of a record company executive and his dream of a lighthouse on the North Devon cliff edge made for particular fist-chewing viewing. 3 million quid and 8 years later, and the unfinished building stands as a monument to one man's massive failure of judgment. The locals remain livid, blah blah blah. Life is messy, and for most of us, major cock-ups don't pan out like a film script. Oh really? I didn't know life was harsh and unfair. Grit and determination only get you so far in life, and not all obstacles are there to be bravely overcome. It's interesting that we hear less from the long-standing failures, the poets who never got published, the inventors who never got an idea off the ground, the mountaineers who gave up and went home. There might be a reason for that, is that they're crap. Did you ever take that into consideration? You know, harking back to the whole thing, why aren't there enough female directors making high-grossing films? Maybe they're just crap. Maybe. And do you ever think that people are just shit? Maybe you think the poet who never got published was rubbish? Do you think the inventor that never got an idea off the ground never had any good inventions? Maybe the mountaineers who gave up and went home. Yeah, that's right. They gave up and went home. You failed, not because you didn't, failure. You talk about overcoming failure. It'd be the mountaineer went up the mountain and got attacked by a bear or some shit, or fell down the fucking mountain and broke his leg or some shit. And then came back and did it again. But when you give up and go home, that's a different kind of failure. That's called giving up. That is the definition of a loser. Do you know what I'm saying? Or wasting your time. Bona fide failure can be life-altering and heartbreaking, but it can also be met with a shrug and a rethink of one's goals. Either way, to look at failure purely as a precursor to success means that it isn't truly being embraced. Those motivational speakers who talk loudly about failure may well have had their problems, but the triumph over adversity narrative is, by and large, a privilege belonging to those with a safety net, and having one of those surely makes you a winner. Right. And suddenly, just at the end, Fiona Sturgis is an arts writer specialising in books, music, podcasting and TV. Right. And just right at the end, this lady just decides to go, but triumph over adversity narrative is, by and large, a privilege belonging to those with a safety net. Where did that come from? When did she mention that? And how does that relate to her IVF? Didn't give any examples. She did not give one example or try and build an argument for the fact that, triumph over adversity is a privilege that belongs to those with a safety net. She didn't put across any examples. She didn't even build towards an argument, didn't even create an argument. Nothing. Just at the end going, well, that's because basically privilege and a safety net, and that's the only reason why you can be a failure. So, yeah, that's why you can afford to fail, by having a safety net. I mean, there is truth in, obviously, it being a lot easier. That's why you get a lot of musicians, a lot of actors are very posh. You do notice that. Because they don't have to end up working in call centres, as most actors do. But some people fucking slum it. Listen to the stories about, who's the guy that stars in Power? No one watches Power, do they? No sensible people. But, and Idris Elba, you hear all these stories about people sleeping in cars, people really roughing it. You know what I'm saying? I've slept on sofas and shit. Do you understand what I'm saying? As in, you don't necessarily have to have a safety net in order to succeed. It just means it's going to be harder for you. But therefore, the reward is going to be that much sweeter. Do you know what I'm saying? It's such a why would you come in at the end and just say that? and having one of those surely makes you a winner. Yeah, it's privilege. We've given no examples. And what kind of precedent does that set for people? Now, how does that help anybody? You know, why? There's a great line in, I don't know if you've ever seen Hustle and Flow. Hustle and Flow is a quirky film. Yeah, it's not the greatest movie ever made, let's face it, but it's fucking entertaining. But there's a great message in Hustle and Flow. Hustle and Flow, if you don't know, stars, oh shit, what's his name? I don't want to say the geezer who stars in Empire, because that's not the best thing that he's ever done. No. The geezer that Don Cheadle replaced in Iron Man. Oh shit, why can't I remember his name? Anyway, it's his character. He's an aspiring rapper, but he's a pimp. And his bottom bitch is pregnant. I think with his baby. No, not with his baby. Pregnant with a baby. Anyway, and he makes up this story that he used to work with this famous rapper from his hood. You know, sort of Skinny Black, portrayed by Ludacris. And they're making a song. They're trying to make his music career, and he tells this sort of white lie about the fact that he used to know Skinny Black, and therefore he could give him his song, and Skinny Black could put him on, get his foot into the door in the music industry. And in the end, he beats the shit out of Skinny Black and shoots one of his entourage and so forth, ends up in prison, and then he gets confronted by his what's his name, Anthony Jackson. Is it Anthony Anderson? See, I can remember Anthony Anderson, but I can't remember the main guy. Fucking, that's terrible. And Anthony Anderson says to him, saying, "Look, yo, did you really know Skinny Black back in the day?" And the guy says, "Nah, man, nah." You say, "Why'd you lie?" And he says, and he talks about the baby that his bottom bitch is about to have. He said, "Do you think when that baby grows up and it says to me, 'Hey, can I be the president of America?' knowing that she's a bastard child." I don't know if he says bastard child, but a bastard child brought up by a pimp and a hoe. If you think 1 minute that I'm not going to say to that child, yes, you can. I don't care if it's a lie. But there's no way I'm... Basically, he says, yeah, I am going to tell her she can be the president of the United States of America. She can be whatever the fuck she wants to be. Because why would I put negativity inside her mind? It's brilliant. It's the best thing about it. It just says, why would I tell her, no, you can't? Why would I instill that in someone's brain saying, no, you can't? Because a hell of a lot of people have gone out and done stuff when they've been told, you can't do that. And they fucking went and done it. It's the worst thing to tell anybody, saying, well, you'll never succeed because of the colour of your skin. You'll never succeed because you're poor. You'll never succeed because of whatever. Like, there's certain things you may not be able to succeed at. But look, some of the biggest selling artists in the music industry can't sing. Some of the most highest grossing, biggest paid actors on planet Earth can't act. It's called fucking perseverance. It's a great thing about Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think Bill Burr talks about him. He says, this guy came to America, could barely speak English, and just became the biggest movie star on planet Earth, and he can't even act. And he just said, yeah, he did it. Then he became governor of California. This guy just went and did it. It goes on and on. But this is the point. And the whole message behind this article, and people like this is player hating, saying, well, no, you're going to fail, blah, blah, blah. It's like saying, yeah, there are harsh lessons in life, and yeah, not everybody's going to make it, and not everybody's going to have a chance, but fuck me, you don't just go around and telling people you can't. Some people telling them they can't works very well because they go, oh, I'll fucking show you. But some people, it really destroys them. It destroys them. It holds people back. Being told, oh, this whole system's against you, you might as well not bother. So what are you going to do? This mentality is what turns people to fucking crime and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's this kind of shit. This sort of mentality creates incels and shit. It does. You know, this woman's totally missed the point of a lot of things and just rambled on. She's a person that writes and we're supposed to listen to. You know, you're extremely privileged to be in the position you're in because you know what the fuck you're talking about half the time, and yet you have this platform. Astonishing. Astonishing. So anything is possible, isn't it, sweetheart? Right. Let's look at something weird. To some of you, you'd be like, no, that's not weird. Trust me, bro. This is weird. So yeah, you can read the title. Kids React to Drag. Kids React to Drag. This is a Channel 4 little snippet that somehow found its way into my Facebook feed. I don't know how this stuff finds me, but luckily it does. Now look, this whole drag queen thing and sort of mainstreaming drag queens and the want to impose it onto children is fucking bizarre. It's bizarre. So let's pull things back a bit. You know, people up in arms about homosexuality being taught to younger children. I can understand, you know, why they wouldn't want young kids being talked about any kind of sexuality. Because they're talking about real young kids. They're talking about 5-year-olds with these weird books going, and this is how you masturbate and stuff. It's like, whoa, what are you doing, man? Whoa, 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 whoa. Alright, so I can understand that. But, you know, the whole fact of saying this is a homosexual person, you might encounter them in life, or you might be one, you know, and then this is a transgender person because science says blah 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 blah. These are regular things nowadays, you know. These are things that are not being, you know, shoved over there saying you stay over there, you deviants. You know, this is, you know, we've become a liberal society. We've gone, hey, we're all people, You ain't harming nobody. There's nothing wrong with that. It's all cool, man. See what I'm saying? You know, we're super chill. So I can understand that. That's fine if you want children to say, here's a homosexual, here's a transgender person. And the little kid goes, so what? And they go, well, I was born a boy, but now I'm a lady because I always felt like I was a lady. Going, oh, that's weird, but okay. You know, this is a kid. That's fine. But the whole drag queen thing is just fucking warped. Because being a drag queen isn't a sexual preference. They're not a marginalised group. Drag queens are just people that, you know, you don't spend your day-to-day looking like that, do you? You know, someone who feels, you know, there's a girl and feels like she's a boy inside and she wants to get the change. She wants to get correctional surgery, whatever the term is for it. And, you know, she's going around, she's cutting her hair short, she's wearing boys' clothes and fucking, you know, spitting, you know, shouting at birds on a building site and stuff like that. You know, she's being real manly and shit. You know, that's one thing. And you go to work like that. She goes to work like that and everyone's going, I think she's going to go get the change. She's going to get the change? Yeah, she's going to go get the change. Like, okay, right. Yeah, but you don't, as a drag queen, you don't turn up to work like that, do you? Unless you work in a fucking club, you know, or on RuPaul's Drag Race, or at Dragland, or something like that. You just, you know, this isn't a regular thing. This isn't an everyday thing of being like this. Like, being a drag queen is an art form in itself. And I've said it before, a lot of the art forms that you get from club culture and stuff, it's a real whack one. I've always found any kind of drag kind of like, because it's not sexy, and it's not, I don't know, it's just free. It's always kind of had a freakishness about it. That's the whole point of it. And so there isn't really any need for kids to it be pushed on kids, but it really does seem like it is. And that's not me talking going, oh, you're pushing the shit on the kids. Because it's not that kind of thing. It's not like people going, oh, well, I don't mind the gays, but they have to be all over the fucking TV. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know. I don't mind the lesbians, but do they have to fucking have jobs? Ain't on that tip, bruv. Because it really is being pushed. You've got fucking drag queens, children's stories read by drag queens in libraries. I've seen a video, my god, there's a drag queen twerking in front of children. Then you've got drag kids, like Desmond is amazing, taking their clothes off in a strip club whilst men throw money at him. What is this? This is when it goes too far. This is when it goes too far, because it's the whole thing of when you're going, alright, okay, some people feel like they're a man trapped inside a woman's body or whatever. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, so we're going to give puberty blockers to a 6-year-old. You go, alright, that's fucking, no, that's not. Because when you see something and down in your gut, you're going, this ain't right, man. There's something a bit off about this. Then there is something a bit off about it. That's not prejudice ingrained in your brain. That's you trusting your gut instinct. There's a big difference. Everyone's going, oh, you're filled with unconscious bias. This is unconscious biases that you have. You're filled with prejudice and you don't even know it. It's like, bollocks. If you're standing in a pub, right, and you feel that vibe of going, yo, I think someone's going to bottle me. Someone's going to fucking bottle you because your gut knows, your instinct. Follow your instincts. There's books on it. You ever read Blink by Malcolm Gladwell? Follow your fucking instincts. They'll be right. Your instincts protect you from dangers and shit. And when I see this kind of thing, I'm just like, oh, that's not. Because it's just, why? This is the main thing. It's like, why? What benefit does this have for children? You know, being a drag queen is a very niche. It's fucking niche. It's niche shit. I mean, what is that? It's as niche. It's like, I remember seeing this video about, you know, these kids in Midwest America, and they were wolf kids, and they wore fucking wolf ears and tails, and it was like, you know, these weird kids that think they're wolves. It's just a very niche thing. You don't need it to be taught in schools going, oh, kids react to wolf kids. So what is it? It's saying, yeah, well, I hang out and dress as a wolf in it. Like, you know, it's the same as like kids react to goths. We're going to bring a goth in. Oh, you're a goth, is it? Yeah, I'm a goth. It's not about, it's not a sexuality thing. You know, all right, most drag queens are probably gay. All right. But it's not a sexuality thing. It's not a sexual gender thing. It's just this thing that happens in clubs that they're just trying to make mainstream. I don't understand it, because being a drag queen is not something that benefits society or do you know what I mean? It doesn't. All drag queens are beautiful, wonderful. You know, there's no prejudice against drag queens, and I just don't understand. I just don't get it. It's like, why is this constantly? We need kids to know about drag queens. Why? Why do they need to know? In case they hang out in Soho when they're older? Like, what is it? It's fucking weird. It's just, I just don't understand why is it necessary? Mm-hmm. You know, I've seen shows which have been cringy where they're like, oh, we take some little white kids to hang out with this Muslim family. It's like, I get that. Like, everyone gets that. It's like, oh, you know, here's how other cultures lead. Don't be afraid of other cultures. Embrace the differences. You know, that's fine. But this is like, what is the point in this? Okay, well, drag queens have, you know, been given a very bad name. Yes, by themselves, I expect. You know, what do you know about drag queens hanging out in, you know, New York clubs in the 70s, injecting heroin? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like we're going, well, since 9/11, drag queens have had the spotlight put on them, and there's a lot of prejudice towards drag queens, and we want to, you know, we want to dispel some of the myths around drag queens. There's none of that. There's nothing. You know, they haven't got their own league. There's no anti-drag queen league that protects their rights. I mean, what are they pushing for? Drag queen white rights? Drag queen whites? Turn to Jonathan Ross. What is it? What is this? I just don't get it. What's the point? What is the point of this going, here's some kids looking at drag queens. So what's the point? I mean, look at this geezer. This has got nothing to do with sexuality or anything. This is just, but it is overly sexualized, because every time you see one of these drag queen things that involves kids, there's some really sexy, weird stuff going on. You're like going, well, why are they having that around kids? You fucking weirdo. What the fuck is wrong with you? Do you know what I mean? God, what is with these people? You know what I'm saying? Right, let's have a look at it anyway. At this pointless exercise.
You got girl shoes on. Kinda look like Tinkerbell.
Bam! Wonderful.
Queer in class.
Hello?
And now you get the whole thing. Queering class. It's like, alright, so we've gone from a drag, kids react to drag to, I'm a queer and I'm going to class. I don't even know what that's all about. But anyway.
You're wearing high heels.
I am wearing high heels. I'm Ruben.
Hi, Ruben.
Do you know what we're doing today?
I mean, look at, like, come off it, bro.
About you.
Come off it, like,
Go.
look. Wait, look at this geezer.
Are you sitting in my seat?
Yeah.
Oh my God, are you going to ask the questions in the interview?
Yeah?
This is the first time that I've been back at school.
Right, here. Right, okay. Okay, let's just reframe this a second. You know, as I said, you know, you got your girl who feels like she's a boy and she cuts her hair short and she wears the man's clothes and she spits, you know, and she shouts at birds on a building site. She wants to be a man. She wants to be a man. Okay. Right? So she dresses like a man, and then you got your man who wants to be a woman. He's wearing a skirt, he's got the long hair, he's probably got some fake breasts, he's wearing lipstick in his face. Right? He wants to be a woman. What's this? What is this? Going, I like to look like a freak show. Because that's what they look like. They don't look glamorous or pretty. They just look like, ugh. Sometimes you're just like, oh my God, what is that? Like, this is the stuff of fucking nightmares sometimes. You see, it is. It's like going, hello, I'm the Nightmare Man. Hello, children. I'm the Nightmare Man. Why are you dressed like the Nightmare Man? Yes, it's like, what? You don't dress like this. This is something you wear at night. There's as much point to this as, you know, like people who shop at Cyberdog in Camden and go to fucking go to Psytrance raves. You know, the typical shit with the fucking, like, let's just get it out. I'll show you. Do you know what I'm saying? Just bear with me. Like this, you know, Psytrance outfit. Let's put in that, you know. This is Cyberdog shit. There we go. You know, this because there's as much point as kids sitting down with someone like that. Someone just dressed like that, like this. Yeah. Well, let's go deep with Cyberdog. Cyberdog. You seen Cyberdog? Like this kind of shit. Here's Cyberdog in Camden. Here, just dressing like that, you know. Or a death metaler, you know. I dress up like this and go to clubs, you know. Or I'm a death metal singer. Death metal singer, you know. I dress like this. I look like a Nightmare Man. Actually, these all look pretty tame for death metal. What happened to looking like an absolute freak? There, like this geezer. Check him out. You know what I mean? Like him. Like that. Or like Danny Filth from Cradle of Filth. Someone like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like Danny Filth. Or Marilyn Manson. I'm a massive death metaling goth. See what I mean? And I'm going to go into a school and talk to children. Hail Satan! Like, well, this is as much relevance as that going on. You know, I'm a massive Satan worshipping goth. Anyway,
Since I
so, I mean,
left
look at him. He's a Nightmare Man. He's a Nightmare Man. Look at his eye. Look at his eye. It's just, that's nightmarish. If you're in a club and someone comes up to you that far away face, it looks like that, you're just like going, do you know, it's like, I left Australia. Well, could you go back? Sure you didn't leave Transylvania? And the undead? You're a Nightmare Man.
Your eyelashes are a bit too long.
They're real, by the way. My parents were cousins. No, I'm kidding. They're fake. They're fake. They're
Okay,
fake.
good. When did you like dressing up like that? What age?
I've been dressing up like this since I was your age.
God, you must be well old.
Do you think I look normal?
No.
Do you think these are the kids' real actions saying, I've been dressed like this since I was your age? And you're like going, ugh. Really? Not like that.
Oh.
You are normal a bit.
I'm normal a bit? I feel so hurt.
Yeah, that's the point, is that a lot of this is what I'm saying about these kinds of people who just dress overtly strange. Like these people who just wear, they don't just go, I'm transgender. It's like, I look like a fucking alien nightmare man. They want to look weird. Do you know what I mean? Always look out for the attention seekers who want to look weird. Who go out of their way to look fucking weird. Because they're not weird. They're just incredibly normal. Just posing as weird. Because they're so boring and mundane as human beings that they think, oh, this is my way of being different and odd. Like, some of us are just fucking odd and want to be normal, thank you. And it's a fucking struggle. And you pricks come along going, no, I'm weird. Look at my face. Like, that ain't how it works, bro. I'm just wearing a black t-shirt. I'm hiding my weirdness. You fucking nutter.
Is that the laugh you're going to use all day? We're going to move on to something. Do you like what I'm wearing today?
No.
Bit too much. Why
Yes.
do you have makeup and lipstick and glitter on?
Because I think it looks pretty.
Yeah.
You don't think it looks pretty?
No, because that is the reaction you should have when confronted with the Nightmare Man. The Nightmare Man. You can be sat there going, what, Mum, Dad, what did I do? Why have you brought in this thing to scare me? I promise I won't steal from the sweet shop again. Is this my lesson? If you do that again, we're going to put you in a room with the Nightmare Man. Like, whoa. Like, Mum, Dad, what did I do?
Do you like jokes?
Can I tell one?
Yep.
Okay. Celine Dion walks into a bar and the barman says, why the long face? Okay, different audience.
Do you have a girlfriend?
I think it might be a boyfriend.
Boyfriend?
Yeah. What do you think about men who wear makeup?
You can't put it into boys.
Who said?
The penguin over there.
The penguin? The penguin believes in binary gender roles? I love it.
Would you be gay or...
Oh my God. The penguin believes in binary gender roles. Yes. So do all regular folk, Nightmare Man. You can dress all weird like a Nightmare Man, but we know you're so regular. That is the thing with this whole thing. Well, actually, I'm a non-binary, I'm this, blah, 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 blah. It's no, you're not. You're just a regular person who's trying to be weird and different. Because you're so beige and mundane, you have to make this much effort and be this much extra and gather this much attention. Because deep down inside, there ain't a lot that separates you from everybody else. You're the same as the bin man. You're as exciting as the bin man. Face facts. Stop trying so hard. Some of us are born with it. You're not. Why you gotta be hating? It's a fact of life, man.
Or would you not be gay?
Have you met a gay person before?
No.
No. Am I the first one? Do you know what that means? More celebration!
Again?
Again? Okay, 1 second. Oh no, I don't have the budget for that. It's only Channel 4.
Did you go to school like that?
Yeah. And school wasn't actually a fun time for me. I was a different kid. I was a young gay kid, and I liked to dress up, and I liked to sing and dance, and I wasn't into sport.
At least you actually have the guts to do things
Thank you.
what other people can't.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think.
I feel...
Yes, it's all very gutsy. Thank you very much. You know, I don't know how to sort of end that segment and say, well, what do you make of it? It's just like a little drag queen thing. Why? What's it all about? Why are you looking like a Nightmare Man? How is this beneficial? I just don't get it. Because it's not, alright, the fact that he's gay is kind of irrelevant to the fact that I'm a drag queen. I was like, why? Why do we need to? Why are they pushing being a drag queen of all things onto children? I don't understand it. It's fucking warped, man. I don't get what's going on. Well, it's gone absolutely bonkers, hasn't it? What a weird little world we're living in. Everybody everybody's gone fucking weird. The Nightmare Man is gonna take your kids. Shit. Fucking Nightmare Man. Right. Well, I'm gonna have to leave it there for tonight, baby. That's for tonight. As I did promise I was gonna call my mother. There's a very long. You got to always call your mother, boys. Alright, girls, do what you like. But boys, always call your mother. You know. Ladies are just born selfish, but us boys have got to be less selfish, you know what I'm saying? Men have got to be back on top. No playing around and being little boys no more, my friends. It's time to grow up. Alright. No dressing up as Ewoks and going to your Star Wars premieres. It's time to be big boys and call your mum when she says to call her. That's bloody right. Anyway, it's been an absolute fucking pleasure. I do have some more stuff to go to, but I'm going to save it for the next Knowledge and Ignorance stream next week. But with that said, Saturday I will be out and about doing an IRL just on Twitch. Out and about, hitting up the beach, wandering around. This is the day after the first full moon, so it's an important day in my calendar. This is how I live my life. So that'll be around 4 p.m. Around 4 or 5 p.m. It'll probably be 5, between 4 and 5, depending on what time I get down there. You'll start around then. You'll get, if you follow me, you'll get a notification anyway. And that'll be for a while. I'm running down on the beach and all around there and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's 4 and 5 p.m. Bangkok time. That's Indochina time, which is 4 p.m. Maths is 10 a. No, oh, it's 7 hours behind because the clocks. So that is. 9 a.m. GMT and I don't know 4 in the morning East Coast time USA. Oh fuck knows. Just anyway, I'll be on for hours on Saturday, so come join me then. That's what I'm next on, baby. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure. Now stay knowledgeable, but when it comes to being funny, be fucking ignorant about it. 'Cause that's how comedy works, baby.